Imagine a world stretched out beneath the quiet turning of the stars. A world older than memory, older than language, older than the soft idea of history we carry like a lullaby. Imagine a time when the earth was young enough to speak. And people listened, not with ears, but with something deeper, something that lived where breath becomes dream. Across deserts, mountains, and forgotten shores, echoes of this world still linger, scattered like uncollected thoughts. And tonight, if you're willing to drift with me, we can gather a few of them, slowly, softly, like picking up pieces of a broken constellation. Before we begin, if you're still awake, gently like this video and subscribe. Only if you want to keep traveling through these quiet corners of history where time dissolves into myth. And if you're listening right now, tell me your city and the time it is where you are. I like imagining this story weaving through lamps and bedrooms across the world. Somewhere, under the sands of forgotten ages, lies a mystery much older than empires. Long before Babylon or Egypt, before writing shaped thought and cities taught us how to live together, there was a civilization, or perhaps many, that left behind structures too heavy for our explanations, too precise for our assumptions, too ancient for the timelines we cling to. The world feels familiar because we are walking on layers of ourselves. Civilizations rise, collapse, turn to dust. And then something in the human spirit wakes again, remembering just enough to begin anew. Let's drift first to a place where silence has weight. In the western deserts of Arabia, far from the known cradles of civilization, the sand hides structures that predate agriculture itself. Hundreds of stone rectangles, mastados, stretching longer than city blocks. Their shapes are simple, but their purpose is not. Each one aligned with a precision that suggests ritual, astronomy, or something else entirely. When archaeologists cleared the entrances, they found carefully arranged animal skulls offerings left by a people with no writing, no pottery, no tools advanced enough to explain the scale of their construction. 9,000 years ago. Humanity should have been scattered, nomadic, learning how to survive. But here, in the silence of the desert, a people gathered for something sacred, something coordinated, something learned, and no one knows from where they learned it. The deeper researchers dug, the more questions rose like dust in the wind. The stones showed no signs of randomness. The placement mirrored patterns in the sky, star paths, seasonal movements, celestial cycles, as if the builders could read the heavens with a fluency we did not regain for millennia. How did they know? Who taught them? Or what did they remember? Let's drift north now, toward the icy breath of Siberia. Along the cliffs of the White Sea, petroglyphs stretch across stone-like pages of an unread book. Animals carved with uncanny anatomical precision. People with elongated limbs, moving through scenes whose meaning flickers at the edge of comprehension. Some figures wear what looks like headgear, others float as if weightless, and among them are shapes that resemble maps or star charts, far more complex than anything we expect from the Neolithic world. The carvings themselves are not mysterious. Humans carve, humans draw, humans remember. The mystery lies in what the images depict. Animals that lived much farther south. Celestial formations invisible from the latitude where they were carved. Symbols that repeat across continents separated by oceans. It is as if those who carved them carried memories of a place they came from, not a place they lived. Memory can travel further than the body, further than the tribe, further than the age. Now, let the wind guide us west, across mountains and forests, toward the highlands of Ethiopia. They're perched among the clouds. Our walls made of stone blocks fused so tightly together that even a thread of light cannot slip between them. Not carved, not stacked, fused. Stone melted as though it were wax. Engineers today cannot replicate the technique without industrial heat. Yet these structures were built in a world without metal tools. The people who live near these ruins speak of them the way many cultures speak of ancient monuments, not as their own, but as gifts or inheritances from a people who came before. Some say giants built them. Others say angels. Others say travelers from a distant past, a forgotten cycle of humanity that reached heights. we lost and have only recently begun to regain. Every continent carries a version of this story. A time before time, a people before people, a memory beneath memory. Now travel with me into the thick green breath of the Guatemalan jungle. LiDAR scans, pulses of light measuring the forest floor, reveal entire cities hidden beneath the canopy, roads stretching for miles, reservoirs engineered with hydraulic sophistication, pyramids aligned with such astronomical accuracy that their shadows mark solstices with needle-thin precision. These cities did not grow small and simple. They appeared almost fully formed, advanced, organized, as if the knowledge had been waiting, dormant, like a seed, as if the people who built them were remembering how to build, not learning for the first time. Why does this pattern appear everywhere? Why does civilization seem to begin in different places at almost the same moment with architecture, astronomy, agriculture, ritual, mathematics, all rising like dawn across multiple horizons? Perhaps these were echoes of a world that ended, a world that breathed before ours, recorded only in the Earth's scars, flood layers, ash clouds, abrupt climate shifts, ancient shorelines far from today's oceans. Cultures with no contact describe the same event, a great calamity, a cleansing, a flood that reshaped the world. Whether myth or memory, the stories align too neatly to ignore. And after this great forgetting, humans began again. But not from scratch, from fragments. Imagine a pot shattered on the floor. You sweep it into a basket, carry the pieces to another room, and set about rebuilding. The pot you reconstruct is not identical to the original, but it carries the same curves. It's the same logic, the same ghost of shape. That is humanity. We are rebuilding a world we do not fully remember. The Sumerians said kingship descended from heaven, not as rule, but as order. The restoration of something ancient. The Egyptians said their earliest dynasties followed the Shem-Suhor, the companions of Horus beings who came before the pharaohs. The Greeks spoke of ages of gold, silver, bronze, and iron cycles, not progressions. The Maya described previous worlds destroyed and remade. The Hopi recount ages washed away, burned away, spun away in darkness. Every story points backward. Every story whispers. This has happened before, and among these whispers are figures who appear not as gods, not as metaphors, but as teachers. The Apkallu of Mesopotamia emerging from the sea with knowledge. Viracocha of the Andes walking among ruins with tools of light. Osiris in Egypt bringing agriculture, law, and ritual. Quetzalcoatl in Mesoamerica. Oannes in Babylonian lore, always arriving from elsewhere, always bringing memory. Civilizations do not begin with teachers unless there is something to be taught. Now, let's follow the slow descending rhythm of night into the world of stars. Because the sky holds some of the strangest clues of all, ancient people tracked Venus with mathematical precision rivaling modern instruments. They understood precession, the slow wobble of Earth's axis, long before Greek astronomy. They built monuments aligned with constellations as they appeared 12,000 years ago. How could they see a sky that existed before their own civilization? Unless the knowledge was preserved from an earlier age, the more you look, the more humanity resembles a person waking from deep sleep, remembering pieces of a dream. You recall the shape of a house, but not the people inside. You remember a melody, but not the words. You know something happened, but you don't know when or why. Civilization is that dream, written in stone, carved in myths, buried in ruins, and maybe this is why certain places feel ancient, even if we cannot articulate why. Why the pyramids seem too perfect. Why Göbekli Tepe seems too early. Why maps from centuries ago show coastlines that should have been unknown. Why myth feels like memory, not invention. When we stand beside ancient ruins, we are not looking at beginnings. We are looking at returns that cycles turn. The ages rise and fall. Knowledge sinks, then resurfaces. The world forgets, then remembers. We are not the first to wonder who we are. We will not be the last dot, and as you lie here, eyes heavy, breath slowing, the boundaries between past and present soften. The ancient world feels closer. It's if time were not linear, but tidal, washing back and forth, bringing fragments of forgotten civilizations to our shore. Maybe the world you know is just the latest layer. Maybe beneath the layers, a deeper story waits. Maybe the ruins are not ruins at all, but reminders. Tonight, let your thoughts drift like sand across the desert. Let the mysteries hum softly in the background of your mind. Let the weight of forgotten ages lull you toward sleep. The past is not behind us. It surrounds us. It breathes with us. It dreams with us. And somewhere in the quiet between waking and sleep, you might feel it. The memory of a world long vanished, whispering through stone and starlight, waiting for humanity to remember what it once knew.